Hello everybody and welcome to Casual Racing League. Here tonight we are live for the Australian Grand Prix as we're just about to begin for racing out on track. It's going to be round 2 of the championship. Round 1 was at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's have a look at the standings and the finishing order from that race. It was 12 drivers attending the race and it was D-Mag winning the race alongside his teammate Pearl 11 on the front row. Both of them getting the Alpine team out on top there. Then came Akur, was third in the championship and finished third in that race at Abu Dhabi as well. In that Red Bull, then it's Magic Blood really doing his best to get himself into P4. Then comes Krunk in P5, who's not attending today's race. It's 7 drivers, but it should be fantastic and great fun as we are just getting about to get out on track. But before that, we just get to have a look at this standing sheet as then came McCurry in P5, then Colum, his teammate, in P7, then Silent Rug inside that top 8 for Ferrari. Then came Zero and El Dominici completing the top 10. Then it was Zeno and Iceman completing the top 10. All those who attended, who participated in the race, and now just here at the Australian Grand Prix. One more chance, one more time. These drivers have a chance to go out on track and give it a go. Those who could not in the first one have a chance to regain their position, regain their performance in this one, which should be great fun and great racing out there as well, as we are now just out on track in a few seconds time. And there we go, we have already drivers leaving out the pits, so it's going to be short qualifying session, then we'll move on to a 20 lap racing action. But before that, we have to watch these cars go around the circuit. We have to watch all of these drivers show us their best performance, show us the best they've ever done, and they are about to do it once again. The 2 teammates that finished 1-2 at Abu Dhabi are out on track already. Indeed, it is Pearl 11 only who's out on track. D-Mag is not yet out on track, but all the other drivers, Akur and Zero in the Red Bull, both of them out at the top at the moment, doing their best they can. Just out on those out laps now, trying to do their best, trying to do the most they can for their team and for everybody supporting them. Having a look at this as these 2 are at the moment. Ooh, that was just a bit of an exit of turn. Just out of the pits came El Dominici, but that little moment there for him. But that seems to be a smooth exit. Seems to be a nice, fun exit for him. But everybody around the circuit as well, just now beginning their flying laps, getting towards their flying laps. It is the 2 Red Bulls that are closer to their flying laps. But Akur, before it even begins, he has invalidated his lap, and that is not going to be counting at all, or in fact should be counting though, unless he's done it in the 3rd sector. Then it always continues on to the next lap, but as soon as he gets past that finish line, it is going to be counting for him. And both the 2 teammates, the Red Bull drivers, both on those medium tires though, you have to note that, and that is a thing to be noted. Oh, that is Pearl 11 already out of the session. That is something might have happened there, as we are going to see El Dominici just about to make his way around the circuit at the very part where Pearl 11 has crashed. Only 7 drivers, but you need a lap, you need that time on board that's going to keep you out at the top of the timing sheet, and Pearl 11 is not going to be able to do that tonight, as he's probably put it in the wall or ended up making a mistake that has made him get into the wall and just retire out of the session. So it's 7 and 1 is already out. But these two Red Bull teammates, as both of them, as we were just talking about, on those medium tires, and both of them now have invalidated their laps. Both of them, one of them invalidated on the out lap, and now both of them invalidated on the flying lap. So that is going to be no timing registered by both of these drivers. They were the first ones to start a lap. They were the first ones to begin a flying lap in this qualifying session, but that is not going to count at all so far. But they'll have to go one more time as Dominici has invalidated, as well as this isn't normally a circuit we see drivers invalidate a lot of laps around, but definitely, especially this part and these two corners, very fast. Sometimes you're just trying to get the most out of the cars, you're just trying to get most out of those tires and get yourself at the top, see yourself at the top of the timing sheets, and that results in your lap being invalidated, and it's not going to count for him at all. For Dominici, it's not going to count. What about D-Mac now? He's currently on a flying lap, but he's just begun his teammates in the wall, and we are having a look at 0 now. Out of them all is at the top that does have a flying lap. It would have been Dominici, but he's going to be invalidating his lap as well. He'll have to go one more time. Both these Red Bull drivers are on a different strategy, trying to save on those soft compound tires, which will obviously be required towards the end. The time that is, sometimes all these drivers are quicker towards the end of the session, so they're going to try and use those tires at the end. But here at this moment, we're going to see Akur come into the pits. He's not going to go on those medium tires once again. What about his teammate? And he's going to have a spin, and he's going to put it in the wall. He's just damaged his front wing, but that could have been bad. As we already have one driver out of the session, it could have been just 2 had the Red Bull not made it safe and not made it. Had he made it way harder in the barriers, it could have been bad for him, as we're going to see Magic Black put it on pole, but only drivers to set a lap time at this moment. What about D-Mac then? He's going to deny him by over 2 seconds, almost 1:17.1. And what about his teammate Iceman then? I think he was the one that DNF'd out of the race, but we'll have to see what he can do something around here in this qualifying session. His teammate has put it P2, but the slowest of the 2 drivers, and Iceman's going to follow him and become the slowest out of 3 that have a lap time at this point in time. What about Dominici then? Is he going to come close? He's going to go P3, just ahead of Iceman there, with Pearl 11 now out of the session. It's the 2 Red Bulls that are in the pits and without a lap time, as Akur has been put on the soft tires, as we're just awaiting to have a look on one of the drivers. Not sure who's exited the pits, and it is indeed Akur having exited the pits. The rest of the drivers doing their best. Iceman's not able to improve, almost a 10th down on his previous time in the middle sector. Magic Black currently on the front row, but he comes out into the pits and gonna give some rest to himself and his car, and to try and go once again when he has the chance to do so. As we have Iceman at the moment, he did not put a lap time too quick, but he hasn't got fuel. He hasn't got the fuel that is going to take him for another lap, so he'll have to come out into the pits as well. What about the Williams though? Dominici going to try and probably dominate, but not on this lap, as obviously all these drivers having one out lap and a flying lap, then they just are back into the pits. So it is these 2 drivers once again. This time they've at least timed up their pit exit at a good rate, because before they were pretty much just behind and ahead of each other. It was almost going to be stopping both of them from doing a very good lap, from doing a fast lap that was going to count, that was going to really put them at the top of the timings. But I think this time it's going to be allowing them to do a lap that they're going to be looking for, to do post a time that they will be wanting to put there. as Akur has already started his flying lap. He's just making his way through those final few corners at the end of the first sector, as he almost went all four wheels off the track once again, and that could have been horrible as he comes around 126.5. It shows purple sector, but that is going to be invalidated. It shows purple on the mini map at the end of the first sector, and he's going to be out just on the exit. He goes all four wheels off the track, and that's not going to count up for him, and he's ended his lap probably before it even began. And they both, the Red Bulls don't have a time, and the whole reason of that is they've invalidated their flying laps and their chances to go around, and they will have to do one more time. What about Zero then? 26.6, a little quicker maybe, or just pretty much the same time as his teammate Akur. I mean, Zero's going to try and zero out everybody else and try and get as quick as he can. Akur would have to go once again, as at the end of the lap, how quick was he going to be had he done a lap? He was going to be P2, 17.8, but he invalidated it, and he's going to try and not to do it once again, because it could be horrible in the end. Surely we saw both of them having medium tires as they started on, but then those were obviously not going to be making anything, as that was a huge smoke of huge smoke from those tires we saw. Maybe a little bit of a lockup from Zero there, and that is going to be pole position. He's going to put a lap time, and that is going to be going a pole for the Red Bull driver. He's going to put it quickest of them all, and he's going to go fastest of the session so far. He's done it, but what about his teammate? Both the Red Bulls were going for those medium runs, medium tires at the start of the session. They went for the softs. Invalidation from Akur on the previous one, but Zero went at it, and he put it out on pole, and fastest of them all. He's going to do a cool down lap and pretty much an in lap at this moment in time of the race, but he will have to try and do what he can, try and show what everybody else can, because he's done his job. 116.0. Probably D-Mag is going to do everything he can, but not far. He's not far away from him. What about Akur? Can he get closer to his teammate? Yes, he can, and he's going to put it on the front row. And that is going to be 1-2 for Red Bull. Red Bull 1-2 as it stands so far in the qualifying session. Not sure how they did in the previous race, but one of them finished P3 and the other did P9. So Akur still unfinished on the podium, and Zero finished P9 at Abu Dhabi in the previous round, as D-Mag has now just started his flying lap, begun his lap, and the challenge to the top two is going to start now. It was D-Mag doing a lap that was going to be counting a lot, as he's just 17 hundredths of a second slower than his previous lap time at the end of the first sector. But what is it going to be for him as he's just making his way through the middle sector now? He's going to do all he can. He's going to try and do the maximum to improve and to perform all the best performance he's got. He's going to try and do it, but so far through the first two sectors he hasn't been able to do that, as Akur is just now on his cool down lap ahead of D-Mag there, as that's going to be last few corners to nail, and that was a little bit of a correction on the steering wheel for a D-Mag, and that could have affected his lap time, but we'll have to wait and see. Does something happen at the end of the lap? It does. He does improve indeed by 1.4 tenths, but that's not going to matter at all. That is at least not going to improve him by position. He's going to improve by time, and that is pretty much going to be, getting his position sorted for P3, but won't be for the top and won't be for the front row at least. He's on the second row at the moment, just alongside Magic Blood, and then Dominici and Iceman at the moment. One of the drivers on a flying lap, looking to improve, looking to go quick. He can, but at least on the previous one he wasn't able to do that, as he's going to begin once again. But surely he's going to be doing a cool down lap at this moment. I wonder if he has enough fuel to do a few continuous laps at this point of time, as Zero is going to try and go out once again. He's currently out on an out lap, and D-Mag obviously improving on his previous time, but I think he'd need a lot of it, and probably one more stop for every single driver before they're out for the final time out on track, as it's now 5 minutes and 30 seconds in the session so far, as it's remaining. And those times are crucial. They're always crucial. It's Formula One, it's qualifying session. Not always you're going to think that probably session's done, not much time is remaining, no one's going to improve, but then comes a lap time, then comes a lap from someone, from your rival, from your best mate off track. Those become rivalries on track, as we are yet to witness one. 7 drivers, unfortunately we couldn't witness Pearl 11. I believe he could have done something very good, having finished P2 in the previous race, just behind his teammate. As D-Mac won the race at Abu Dhabi, he's just not finding that much pace out here at Australia. But I think he knows, and I think everybody around him knows as well. It doesn't matter if they've done very good in the qualifying session. There is always the race to go. There is always the race to deny and the race to have fun on. As Zero is still improving, just 43 milliseconds of his previous time at the end of the first sector. What about middle sector then? His teammates right behind as well, but he's on an out lap. Zero is on a flying lap. Is he going to be able to replicate his previous time or go even more faster? At the moment he's looking like he's going to go even more quicker. He's going to go even more faster, and the time there's going to be even harder for everybody else and everybody around him to beat. Car number 99 doing his best. Almost went those 4 wheels of the track there, just keeping it in line and out on the track. He's got no battery left. Huge lockup on the front left, and that is going to be puff of smoke we see in that shot. And on that finish straight line once again, he's going to be coming home and improve by a 48 hundredths of a second, but that is going to be pole. He already had pole position, but he's now going to make his case even more stronger. He's going to make he challenges rivals even harder now and tell them to do what they can to show what they have to, but they're not going to be able to catch up to Zero, at least so far, and so long in this session. 3.5 minutes now remain, with Enquiries just having begun his flying lap as well with all of the other drivers. Enquiries is now improving as well. He's improving by very little margins as well. We'll only get to know that as he's at the end of his flying lap, but I think so far he's going to do all he can. He's going to try and show everybody, and in first place show his teammate what he can do, because sure, he's playing at the moment is in second place. He's about 4 tenths. Ooh, very close there. Almost about 4.5 tenths. So behind his teammate, but I think it's always never far away if you've got the tyres, if you've got the traction and grip that you need. Almost again at that same corner, always tricky for every single driver there to just keep their wheels out on the track. Zero's going to come back into the pits, and it's going to be his teammate, and it's going to be his chance to do all he can. He's not got much fuel left in the car, but has he got any time left in the car? Yes, he has, and he's going to get closer to his teammate. 116.098 for Enquiries, not far away. With now just 2 minutes remaining in this session, I think Zero's got a chance. If he's got a set of soft tyres, if he's got a set of brand new tyres, he could pit in, and when he comes back, he could really have a chance on improving once again. But Zero can, but Enquiries might not, because as by the time he's going to pit and come into the pits and probably and tries to go again, he just would not have enough time left out on the board, which is going to see him improve there, as probably he's not even going to begin his lap. Forget about improving. Is Zero coming out again? Yes, he's coming. He's going to have to do this out lap as the flying lap. He'll have to treat it like that, as pretty much it's going to be qualifying over for Enquiries then. 116.098 at the moment so far. A Red Bull front row still maintained. Still nobody else is able to challenge it. Still nobody else is there to show them what they're able to do. But these three are yet to have a lap time, as Iceman now improves by 1.1 seconds on his previous time. But even if he improves by about 2 seconds, that is just going to be enough to get closer to Dominiti, and that would be it for qualifying session. He might even get another lap, but if he gets going again, and it's going to be an improvement over 4/10, but that's not going to be any position improvements for Iceman there. What about his teammate Magic Blood? He's going to do everything he can to improve, and he will not be able to do, though. His previous time was 1:19.2, and he's few tenths slower than that. I wonder if he's got enough fuel, if he's got enough energy left to try and go again, which that pretty much is going to be it for everybody around in this qualifying session then. What about Dominici? He's going to come into the pits as well. He's not going to wait on anybody else to improve, or he probably cannot improve as well, and he knows that. So it's not going to be much left in the session so far for everybody around, as 3 of them have taken the checkered flag, with Zero currently taking pole position. He in the end finds an improvement, but I think that obviously he had taken the checkered flag, and it was the other times that we see anybody improving there with at the moment. We're going to have a look at, we will have to have a look at. Now that is going to be it of the qualifying session, and that is going to bring in end of the session. Magic Blood probably try and go, but I don't think he's going to go. He has his ERS on a hot lap, but I think not much is going to be counting, or he probably won't even be finding any improvements if he tries to do so. He's going to try and take the checkered flag, try and challenge his time lapse, his lap time, but he's going to be very slow, 2 seconds slower than his time, and it's going to be 4 and P6 for the McLaren drivers, and that is going to be it for the qualifying session. It was the Red Bull duo of Zero and Akur there taking it 1-2, and a front row lookout for the Red Bull drivers. They're going to do their best. They're going to try and show us their best out there, and to see what they've done and show us what they've just done, and they are about to do with Pearl 11, and then came Akur in P2, Zero on pole position, D-Mag in P3, Magic Blood P4, then came Dominici, Iceman and Pearl 11 of course, without a lap time to his name, as we're just about to get into the race now. So after a fantastic qualifying session, we're just going to be a few minutes on before we go on to the 20 laps of the Australian Grand Prix. As it is now going to be lights, as we're going to see these drivers and cars having a look at these 5 red lights. It's going to go racing right away here at the Australian Grand Prix. Before we could even wait a little, it's going to be turn 1 drivers. They're going to do their role, as Akura's managed to be there, as it's banging wheels, some wheel banging between D-Mag and Akura there as well, as Zero's managed to pull away a little bit, as D-Mag is into P2 already, but is down the inside going to be Akura. He's going to try and maintain his position, but the Alpine drivers, D-Mag as well, as that is going to be going into the wall almost, and into the back of the Red Bull there, as that's not a start that D-Mag would have wanted. He's had a horrible start there, a bit of wheel banging into turn 1, and it's even horrible now. Everybody starting on that medium compound tyre. It's not the start the Alpine driver would have wanted. He already has a penalty there. And Pearl 11 starting without a lap time to himself, without a lap in qualifying session. He's into P2 already. It's Magic Blood and Iceman in 3 and 4 with D-Mag there just coming behind. He's with Iceman running very wide. He's going to try and take that position, and he's done it with Akur having not good of a start as well. Starting on that front row, as Iceman goes straight into the gravel trap and just manages to come out of it. Just manages to come out of that trap, and surely he's got damage, probably from the previous incidents previously in the lap. As Zero's going to have that fastest lap, but this is only the beginning. As Iceman's going to come into the pits now. D-Mag, he's not the only one into the pits. D-Mag now, probably a front wing change for him as well. Straight goes the hard tyre, Dominici. And Dominici's got the self-compared tyre then, probably trying to go a few laps. Then in the end, and I think D-Mag probably going to try and finish this race on these tyres with Akur having a time penalty. I think he had gained the position, and it is a 10-second time penalty indeed. And that is going to be him and Magic Blood try and fight it out there. Magic Blood is going to do all he can to try and defend this place around the outside. It is at the middle sector. This is a very common place of overtaking here around this circuit, and Magic Blood has done, Akura has done it once again. He moves himself up into P3, but with that 10-second time penalty, he's going to find it hard. He's going to find it really hard to try and defend his place, to try and probably even finish on that podium there. It was a horrendous start there. I mean, except for Zero, nobody else really got great off the line. Pearl 11 did very good as well. I mean, he's going to try and do all he can. He's managed to come out of that battle, out of that win unscathed, undamaged, and without any damage. He's just 3.1 seconds ahead of Akur, but with that penalty Akur has got, he's going to even find it even more harder to defend and to finish anywhere near the top 3. But I think he had a very good pace in qualifying. We'll have to see what he can do. I think D-Mag in the race probably could have a better chance at it, as at the moment Magic Blood, having lost the position to Akur very early, he's now 1.8 seconds. He's going to try and catch him back. He's going to try and attack back. At the moment he knows Magic Blood has got this position, but I think obviously it's Formula 1. It's not always going to stay like that. You you have to drive carefully. You have to manage everything out, because if you don't do so, you could end up being in the wall, as well as we see D-Mag there going a little bit wide. I think once again, after a horrendous start for him, he hasn't had the start at all once again. After winning at Abu Dhabi, he hasn't got the beginning here at Australia at all. He seems to be struggling again after the start, and on these hard tyres, obviously not one of the best on this circuit and on this game overall, which they just provide really less grip, and it really also takes a few laps for these tires to come under temperature and give the grip that drivers want, give the grip that anybody and that traction would be required to really have a look at, and the performance out of these tires that would be required. But I think at the moment we're on lap 4 out of 20. Apart from that little chaotic start, there hasn't been much opportunities for anybody around, but Pearl 11, 4.4 seconds the gap now by lap 4. I mean, Zero's showing all his performance he can. I wonder if there was something that probably happened in Abu Dhabi that made him finish P9, but he has definitely brought his A game. He's brought his best drive of all here at Australia, and that is going to see him lead the race by 4.3 seconds from Pearl 11, who finished P2 in the previous race, and he's looking to be finishing P2 again as well, unless Akur could try and catch up to him. Akur is about to catch up to him. The gap from Magic Blood was over 1 second, is now 5.2 seconds, and Akur is now about to catch up to Pearl 11 and reunite with his teammate, as Pearl 11 is already having so many lockups, so many probably mistakes, not like genuine mistakes, but those lockups are obviously gonna see him lose time, see him lose grip, lose traction, and begin a hell of a pressure for Pearl 11 there, Will Akur. And currently the closest battle, and the battle that is becoming 1 second, becoming less than 1 second the gap now. Again, like almost every single corner, every single high-speed corner, or probably a heavy braking zone that is, Pearl 11 has to brake. He ends up locking up, and now the gap is now just less than 1 second, and that could be a move. That could be a move set up for Akur there. He could be just trying to get away from Pearl 11. I mean, he's got a 10-second time penalty, but he's going to do his all, at least try and finish up inside that top 4. I mean, he's yet to make a move and yet to make an overtake on Pearl 11. Is he going to be able to defend? He was able to keep him behind, at least for time being. What about this DRS zone? Is he going to be able to do that? Is he going to be able to do that so far? It's the third and the final, fourth instead. Fourth and the final DRS zone here at this Albert Park circuit. And we are about to see it now, before they even get to the DRS zone. Almost there, Akur overtook him, and that's going to be there on the exit. Pearl 11 going to try and do everything he can. He's going to try and defend he can. He's going to try and defend the inside line, but not too long before Akur's going to dive down the inside in turn 1. They're will to will. Akur's going to find that direction, find that grip, and come out on top. And that is going to be him keeping that place once again. He's not going to be giving it easy. He's not going to let Akur have it easy, just like he had on Magic Blood. He's going to keep pressurizing him. He's going to keep giving him definitely the battle that he needs. A little bit of an unsteady car there, a little bit of a moment for Akur. He could have found it hard there for a time being on lap 6 out of 20 at this time. And I think one more time with that DRS zone, Pearl 11's going to do everything he can to try and defend, but this time it's not going to be enough. But is it going to be enough? It definitely will not be, as they're just get into the braking zone. Akur is going to be able to defend, but it's going to be Akur then having that DRS once again with only one detection point it is. It's going to be having that DRS zone once again, with the leader leading the race by 6.3 seconds. And then Kim Iceman was 16 seconds behind, currently running in P7. Then Dominici in P6. D-Mac over 20 seconds behind, obviously on those hard tires. Not having the best, as there's a yellow flag. And that could be the Williams, and it is the Williams of Dominici. He might have had a problem. He might have had a mistake there that is going to cause a yellow flag. But he's going to try and get back out on track, as it's going to be Akur. He's going to make a huge mistake on the exit of turn 1. He's going to put it in the wall. Earlier we saw in the qualifying session a Red Bull spin at the just before the final corner, and he's going to put it in the wall this time, just on the exit. Had a dirty air, he did not have dirty air, he was leading, but he had some dirt on the exit on those medium tires, and that is going to see him all run into the wall and lose that front wing, and that damage on that downforce, the loss of downforce, that's going to be happening. The loss of racing laps now, already with that 10-second time penalty. I think he has a good time though now to try and pay that, but it's going to be a virtual safety car. Mistakes like these are the ones that make it worse. Mistakes like these are the ones that end up ruining all your hard work, and Akur is going to be thinking about that. And he's just now lost over 4.5 seconds to Pearl 11 there. Are we going to see any activity in the pits? What about the race leader? He's going to come into the pits, that's for sure. Virtual safety car, obviously, but everybody's going to try and come in the pits. They're going to do their best. They're going to try and have a free pit stop, as Pearl 11 now comes in as well. I think at this moment, D-Mag might be feeling a little nice there, because it's a virtual safety car, but I see a yellow dot at the end of it, which is usually for the safety car itself. So it is a safety car indeed, because it is a safety car. It's set in the graphic, it says virtual safety car, but in the as we're just going to be able to see that, as it is going to be the leader, and yes, it will be the safety car, as on those boards that are there, which are there for yellow flags, which are there for red flags, or any information for those drivers to have a look at, which is there. It is their safety car indeed, a full safety car out here on lap 7, which is going to become lap 8, and I think a restart could come around lap 10 at the end of it, and it could be exciting as well, as we are just at the moment on lap 8, and a huge mistake from Akur. He's definitely at least got paid up the penalty there, maybe some tactics there as well, but I don't think a driver really is willing to play such tactics, because it was lucky for him to really just damage the front wing, because had he damaged any suspension or anything more, he could have been out of the race. But he hasn't got the penalty now, with Iceman not pitting. I think he was many seconds behind, but he decided not to pit. He's got a 3-second time penalty, so that wouldn't have been paid anyways. Both the McLaren's drivers then staying out on track, but not pitting. Obviously, one on the hard and one on the medium tires, trying to go long. Magic Blood probably going to try and maybe keep Pearl 11 far behind. I think 11 seconds the gap at the moment between D-Mag and Akur there, after obviously D-Mag having to pit, but he's on those medium tires now. The only driver that is on newer medium tires, and definitely by the time the safety car restarts, there'll be pretty much less than half of the race remaining, or just the half of the race remaining. I think 10 laps on these medium tires should not be a problem. They should be enough, and anything that they will want will be enough. As Magic Blood now just comes into the pits. Probably he hadn't got the chance to pit then, as that is going to get Pearl 11 get into third and D-Mag into fourth, and then Magic Blood has to pit. Are they going to double stack? Will they be able to double stack at the moment? As I think Magic Blood has exited the pits. What about his teammate Iceman? Then he does not come into the pits. He looks to continue on. He looks to get on. He's just going to come out ahead of his teammate Will Magic Blood, and it's going to be P5 and 6. P5 and P6 here at this stage. And hope you're enjoying this race here at Casual Racing. It's Zabi here. Usually we have a co-commentator, which it's not, but I'm all by myself here at this race here in Australia. But I hope you're enjoying this. We've got you covered. All of this here at JPB, and all of the action. Earlier we had great qualifying session, and we are now here on for great racing there, as we are about to get on to the session. Still going on this racing on though. The safety car still staying out. The safety car still staying out and giving us the battle we needed. Finally, the graphic has been now updated, and we just wait to see if the safety car is going to come into the pits now or not. Yes, there should be 2, or even there should be more than 2 at the moment. One is for the race for mental health, obviously a charity race. Everybody at JPB doing their best to stream that and give everybody and give that race a good go as well. Then there's another one for a virtual World Sports Car Championship, which should be going on live as well. And we are here for Casual Racing Leaf. If you're a fan of the F1, and the safety car is in, we did not realize that, did not get any indication. The restart is on, the restart begins, and both the McLaren drivers once again having their damages, having their issues at all, and that is going to be a problem for Iceman already. Before as soon as the safety car restart, we got, it's another time penalty for the McLaren driver, another penalty for Iceman, and he's not going to be liking that, as a lap 10 safety car, exactly as predicted it's going to be. Now on 0 is going to lead from Pearl 11, about 3 tenths, and now this is the best chance for Pearl 11 to go for it. So for D-Mag as well, it's Red Bull Alpine there. It's almost a sandwich there of all these cars. Acura D-Mag a little bit far behind. But the top 3 on the charge there is that Pearl 11 going to go down the inside line. He's going to try and at least defend his position in P2. He got his car very beautifully there in the inside line, try and defend it, and he was able to do that for time being. I mean, at this moment, he's in pressure, but then the driver ahead, 0, should be in very much same pressure from Pearl 11 there as well. The top 4 are on their own race. Top 4 are really there at it, and they're going to do their best to bring us the best action out on the track. We're just having 10 races completed now out of this race. 10 laps completed, 10 more to go. We're on lap 11 out of 20 there. Not many laps, not many now that before we have the end of the race, but I'm sure it's going to be exciting. It's going to be interesting to get to the end. As Acura now gets a time penalty. Earlier he had a 10-second time penalty, and he now gets a penalty. Only one inside that top 5 that has a penalty at this moment. 3 seconds. It's 3 seconds for Dominici, and another 3 seconds for Iceman there, but down the inside, Pearl 11's going to go for it, but around the outside, Zero's going to try and defend. He's going to be able to do that. He just braked a little bit later, and he was able to do that. This time he's going to try and defend the inside line, but is he going to be able to do that around the outside? Pearl 11's going to do everything he can. Pushed a little right there, not pushed enough, but I think that's going to be some interesting things going on inside that top 4 as we see these two switching positions as well. Dominici and Iceman doing their best as well. But the battle inside that top 4 is on now. The race is on. The fire is on between all 4 of these drivers, as all have their rear wing out and rear wing open for that extra speed, extra performance that they need. And I think Akur might be a little bit conscious there on the exit of 1 at this point, because he had a mistake. He made a mistake earlier, and down the inside there, Perl11 thought for it for a moment, but that didn't quite happen. I think DMAC at the moment just trying to stay behind, just not trying to attack or but make a dive bomb, make a risky move there, which could end up giving him some damage. I think he's just trying to play it safe. He'd probably go for it towards the end, as we're going to see another position switch. A little bit of a battle going between these two drivers, giving it their all as well, as here now, Pearl is going to try and defend all he can. He might try and go for that position, but this time he might lose all of his positions. Who's going to be coming out on top once again? And it's going to be 0 one more time. It's really close, almost going into the rear wing of that, as Akura around the outside of Pearl 11. He's going to be taking the position, but who's going to be late on the brakes? It's 3 wide. It's 3 abreast into the few final corners of the third sector, and it puts really wide. Obviously 3 into 1 cannot be making it. And there's going to be a court push really wide, having to take the escape road. There was no escape road, there was gravel trap, and he had to take that, and he'll be having to do that and concede the place to Pearl 11, as D-Mac now gets into second place, and he might just get into first place here as he dives down the inside of 0 and take the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. He's going to lead it for the first time so far. The winner of your Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and your current championship leader has taken the race lead, as his teammate's going to go for it once again to try and get an Alpine 1-2, and which they will try and do it once again, and 2 races in a row, but that doesn't quite seems to be the case so far. These two now, what a battle, what a race, what a exceptional laps all of these drivers are put in there. I think Iceman doing his all, doing his performance he can to give all he can, or all he's doing, as down the inside now. Obviously this is a very common place for overtakes here at the Australian Grand Prix. Once again I think D-Mac's going to try and have a go at him. He might just try and have a go at him. I think not only him but his teammate will try and do that as well, but he thought for a moment, but he has to back out. He cannot quite go for the move at this point of the race. I think the race is on. Anybody can win, anybody from that top 3. I think Akur probably has the less chance out of them all, because having that penalty will not be benefiting for him, though. He would not be wanting that, as there is a yellow flag. And Dominici making another mistake, running in P7 at the moment. And down the inside, D-Mac's going to go for it. And he might run away a little bit wide. And Zero's going to have the outside line. And his teammate's going to have the inside line. It's going to be 3 abreast once again. Who's going to be coming late on the brakes? It's going to be, and that's going to be a spin. That was a half a spin there from, that was almost 90 degrees, a little less than 90 degrees for Zero there. Both Alpines now leading once again, 1-2. This time Pearl 11 taking the lead of the Grand Prix. But that was a spin, 3 wide there. It was really a fight. Who was going to be late on the brakes? And I think Zero made a little bit of a mistake, almost running all the other drivers out of that race there. I think very lucky for him to not make any contact and come out of that undamaged, skate, and that is going to be switching of positions once again. This top 4 battle of all these drivers having an exceptional battle, having a fantastic battle from all these drivers. They're doing their best, and there might have been just some damage, and that's going to be down the inside there from Akur there. He's going to try and take back that position. He's going to try and do all he can. He's going to try and do the recovery now. A little bit of a mistake there maybe, but Zero keeping his second place there in the Red Bull 2-3 now. Is D-Mag now out of those podium places? Still anybody's game to take. Still anybody's game to take, as it's going to be Iceman now having a huge spin there, as Dominici is going to be able to take that position and gain a place back. With around the outside one more time, Zero's taking that lead once again, as we're having a look at Magic Blood there. He's currently in 5th place and in a race of his own, but this battle the battle of the ages, the battle of the race, which is giving us fantastic ones. We're on lap 15 now, not many laps before the end of the Grand Prix, as Pearl is going to lose the position once again. It's going to be around the outside, which is going to become the inside into 10, 11 and 12. That used to be, yes, that is now going to be. Who's it going to be? Another Red Bull driver going at it, but 11's going to be able to do that once again around the outside. Akur for a moment thought for it on the inside line, but that didn't quite happen. That didn't quite end up happening for him. Down the inside, Mag is going to go for it. D-Mag thought for it, but has to back out once again because he knows it. A huge lockup for him anyways. Put him out of that battle. Is there going to be a move? One more time. Is there going to be a chance we see anybody overtaken? Anybody going for it? D-Mag thought for it. Thought for a move. Thought for a chance to go at it once again. But that didn't quite happen for him. That didn't quite happen how he would have wanted. And I think it could have been horrible had he went for it, because that would have been some exceptional racing. But we're going to see this once again. Now only the few laps remaining before the end of the race. Only the few laps. Only the few more times they have to go around the circuit. And then they will have to go at the next race. So before that, they have all their chances to do all they can. To try and do all they can. Because they definitely have to do that. And have to do their best at this time. Pearl 11 still leads the Grand Prix here at Australia. What is it going to be? Any position switching between the Red Bull drivers? I think with D-Mag having a 3-second time penalty, it's an automatic podium for D-Mag there. Sorry, Akur having a penalty, but maybe a podium for D-Mag. And a spin for Iceman once again. He's had many spins there, and it's going to be another one for him. He's just trying to finish this race in P7 and really come out on top, come out of those drivers. Hope you're enjoying this great race as we just move on to lap 17 now. It was many overtakes after the safety car. A few before that, but I think one mistake from Akur has made the race alive. He's got a 3-second time penalty, but if you look at it earlier, he had a 10-second time penalty. So really, I think it's going to be a win-win situation for him. Anyways, he's going to finish P4 with Magic Blood with over 14 seconds behind. D-Mag now having to fall behind, obviously, those medium tires, having to fight with the top runners, having to fight with those top drivers at the top of the field then. He did his all, and now they're Pearl 11 looking to be slow, with Zero doing all he can with that rear wing open. One Red Bull gets past the Alpine, the other might have a chance of doing so as well, and I think now D-Mag over 2 seconds behind Akur there. I think the podium chance for him, as down the inside Akur is going to go for it. He's going to push the Alpine really wide, almost sending him into the gravel there. Akur made a mistake. He's trying to keep him out on track. He's trying to keep him clean and keep everything clean out there. But it's going to be really close now, wheel to wheel once again. Who's going to be coming out on top? Some great racing. And once again, a little bit of a moment from Akur, that rear of the car sliding out. And that's going to allow D-Mag to get close up once again. And maybe for a moment, Akur thought for that podium to be his, to try and pull away another second of the gap, after he had pulled away 2 seconds. But that didn't happen. That didn't quite get to be happening there, as it's now going to be 18 laps out of... sorry about that. That's going to be lap 18 out of 20. Not many laps before the end of the race now. But it is going to be very interesting as Akur now gets another penalty. And I think his dreams of a podium might be over now. But I think still finishing inside that top 3. But I think this has been fantastic. This has been some exceptional racing by all these drivers, by all of their racing they've tried to do. They've given their all. They've done it their best. And we are about to see now they got 1.3 seconds between the leader and P2. Obviously, 10 laps on these hards and on those mediums. Running away now, running out of the grip, running out of traction that they need, which is the most important one. But I think they are not going to back out. They're not going to do rule out anybody. Still a lap 19 now, so not many lap, indeed just 2 laps now, including this one remaining for the Grand Prix. But I think fantastic for D-Mag to even keep up with these guys on those medium tires. Obviously, for the starting of of the stint, he would have been able to do that very nicely. But at the end of it, or towards the end of it, it would have been very hard for him on those medium tires. It would have been pretty hard and pretty hard to manage everything out there. I think it's got to be amazing. It's got to be fantastic, this racing. One more time, we might just see a move or two before the end of it. We might just see a few moves being made before the end of the Grand Prix, as our leader is yet in that middle sector, the part of the circuit, that straight, that DRS straight that we've seen many overtakes being made, and Pearl 11 might just go for it. Does he think for a late overtake? Does he think for a late move for that race lead? He had a very huge fight with Enquiries there. I mean, Enquiries trying to overtake him, but then kind of just helped his teammate to try and defend, and that's going to be a huge mistake, and that's a huge lockup from Zero there, which is going to allow Pearl 11 to come back, and this is what we're talking about. Anybody can win that, and Pearl 11 is going to take it back, the race lead of the Australian Grand Prix, just at the beginning of the final lap. It's going to be beginning, and now that is going to be start of something new, which wasn't new earlier. He was taking the lead. For a moment we thought it was over, but not over yet. Still not over yet, though I think anything can happen. But these Red Bull drivers have made a fair share of mistakes, which has allowed them to lose positions. But now once again, a little bit of a movement there. He's going to lose it again. Pearl 11 thought for a move, and thought he was going to be winning the Grand Prix. He will not be, and there would have been a little bit of contact between Enquiries and Pearl 11 there as well. I mean, Enquiries is doing all he can to try and probably help his teammate defend and help his teammate all he can in this race so far. And I think an exceptional performance from all of these drivers there. And one more time, this could be it. This could not be it. It's down the inside. Both of them are going to be out of the race. They're not going to be out of the race. All top three down the inside. Late move from Pearl 11 there, and he's put all of them in, as Enquiries is now going to be out on track and out on top. He's then send one move down the inside line, and he's going to see him come home. I think that's definitely going to be a penalty coming Pearl 11's way. It's going to be coming home on track. Pearl 11's they're going to be winning here in Australia after qualifying 7th on the grid without even setting a lap time to his name. He's going to win it all and finish at the top. And out of them all, he's going to win the Australian Grand Prix. Zero finishing in second after a mistake. After a mistake at the end of lap 19 pretty much. So he made a mistake. So Pearl 11 get closer, and that is going to be it. And with a penalty to Enquiries, it's going to allow D-Mag to finish out on top as well. And inside that top three, then came Enquiries in P4. He had a fair share of mistakes, but a good driving as well. And Medu Blood doing the best and doing all he could in P5 with El Dominici with the penalty. But I think he's going to come home and take the checkered flag in P6. And that is going to be it for an amazing, fantastic, and awesome Australian Grand Prix. That was fantastic, but I think definitely a penalty coming Pearl 11's way very, very soon. Hope you enjoyed this. This was some exceptional racing. This was some extraordinary racing between all of these drivers, especially the top three there. I mean, they gave it their all. They did their best they could, and I think that is going to be interesting to see what comes after the race. Probably we'll only get to know that by next week when all the stewards' decision have been made. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed a race here at a JPB. We're bringing this casual racing league, and that is it for the double Alpine podium once again. They finished 1-2 in the previous race. They couldn't this time, but exceptionally well, and those are your podium celebrations. The celebrations that we see go on, and which are going to be going on for a very, very long time after the end of this race, which has been fantastic. So usually there is interviews after the race, but I don't see anybody waiting in the interview room so far in this race so far. So I think we'll wait and see if there will be any interviews just in a minute's time there. as we're just waiting on if there will be an interview. So there will be, as we are just going to be waiting on all of these amazing drivers try and do their role, try and finish the race at their best rate and give us the performance they can. We're just about to be waiting for all these drivers to come on and give us and answer the question regarding their amazing race they had here in Australia. It was an exceptional one. Probably I'm down on voice now as well, but anything for an exciting race. So hello everybody, and we have our first driver with us, Al Dominici, finishing P6 in this race after a fair share of incidents. Take us through your race. What was going through your mind there, making those mistakes, making those moves around? Not many drivers around you, but just going through your race there. Cool. I mean, after probably many mistakes, happy with the result, I think, with the battles and the competition around the grid that there was. Okay, cool. Thank you. And now, if we have Pearl 11, our race winner, hearing us. Hey, can you hear me? Okay, Pearl, what happened there? I mean, after in qualifying, I think you made a mistake. I wasn't able to catch that, but you retired early in the session with no lap time on board, starting P7. You had quite a good start as compared to the drivers around you, but in the end, I think you coming out on top. But you expecting any penalties with that dive bomb in the end?
In that corner, I outbrake myself, and then I would have if I didn't turn into the inside, I would have hit the rear of zero. So that's why I turned in, and I didn't mean to do the dive bomb, but I don't know. We will see.
But still, overall, I mean, fantastic battles, and in the end, happy with the result, coming at the top. P2 in the previous race. I think victory in this one must feel good for the championship as well. Okay, thank you, and now Zero, if you could hear us. Yeah, finishing P2, taking pole by a bit, not big of a margin from Akur there, your teammate. But in the end, I mean, great battles in the race. You had a better start, just like Pearl 11 there, aside from everybody else having a bit of a chaotic start. I think just a mistake around at the end of lap 19, which brought Pearl 11 very close to you. I think that. Do you think that was the time that really you let go of your win, or Pearl would have been able to catch up anyways? Yeah, I think at the moment you finished P2 on track, but something could we could see some off-track penalties maybe towards the end. But I think you think this is a great result, except from the previous race, finishing P9 at Abu Dhabi, then come back and put it on pole and really drive such an amazing race. Happy with the result?
I'm pretty happy with the result because both in qualifying and in at least in qualifying in the race it was a little bit better except for the hard stint. But I felt not confident because I usually like a car with a good front end. But I today I like couldn't control the rear, so I was just sliding. But yeah, I got a little bit of relief when I saw that quota. Sadly, I put it into the wall in qualifying.
Fantastic. I mean, it was yeah. So fantastic. It was great to have you, Zero. Thank you for your time. As we now should be moving towards DMAC then. DMAC, hey, what's up? How you doing? Hope you're having a good time after a victory in the previous race. I mean, not qualifying. I think you didn't have a smoothest of the starts, but still pulling out a P3. Take us through your race. Fantastic. I mean, after a start, you had a bit of a head to pit very early because of damage, and then the safety car definitely helped, didn't it? Fantastic. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. As we now should be having a talk with Akor, then hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. Hey man, how are you doing? Okay. So after, what do you think about your race after qualifying P2, just half a tenth behind your teammate? You thought you could have a challenge him. I'm sure you did challenge him throughout the race, but definitely didn't got the launch of the line a little bit great. A bit of a mistake in the end. I think a 10-second time penalty for you earlier, and then a few seconds after that as well. Do you think you could have done better, or this you happy with it?
Yeah, I usually start pretty good in the starts, but now I didn't have a lot good start. I got a lot of rear spin and I couldn't control the car that much. And after the first corner, we had a little bit better with DMAG, and then it carried on to the second corner, the third, and I don't know what happened, but I got an illegal overtake on DMAG, and then I braked because I wanted to let DMAG pass, but I didn't know where he was. So I accidentally braked in front of Quota, which I'm sorry for. I didn't wanted to cause any damage, but I just didn't know what to do because I tried to let DMAC pass, but he wasn't coming to anyone, and then I just got a 10-second time penalty for I don't know what reason, but DMAC didn't, which I don't know. Then I got track limits, I got a 3-second time penalty. And after I overtook Quota because I think he had damage, I spun at the first corner. I was trying to pull a gap to Quota, but I couldn't because I spun at the first corner. I think I was pushing too hard. Then I called the safety car, and it was all rest of the race.
Absolutely. I mean, you really took us throughout all of your race. And what are your preparations coming up Canada now?
There's a lot of I need to practice a lot because I don't like Canada. It's also a very hard track to get the track limits right, and I'm not fast at all at Canada. It's it could rain. It's very hard to see if it's gonna be raining because it's another story if it's raining. Yeah, just a lot of practice and hope that it doesn't rain.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your time as now we should be moving on to Magic Blood.
Hello, have I been summoned?
Hello, hello, how are you doing? Yeah, I think we're a lot of competition around you. I mean, qualifying P4, did you ever thought that there was a chance for you to have a go at the top 3 in the race, or you just pretty much were preparing for your own race all around?
Honestly, in qualifying, when I saw Crota got DNF'd, I will be honest, had a little bit of a panic attack because I thought, wait a minute, we'll be starting at back. That means there'll be an extra position. So just kept it calm, kept it simple, and I knew that Crota was going to be getting back up there almost immediately because Crota is definitely among the top 4. But yeah, I think an odd occasion P4 quali or just as close as I can get would be all happy, all good.
Fantastic. I mean, having those first 2 rounds of the season done now, are you looking forward to Canada or any other track that would be your favorite out of this season's calendar?
I think after this race, I think Canada. I think it's going to focus all the time on Canada as 7. That is definitely one I think Canada is going to be great when it came out of nowhere. One of the champions has played a victim of Crota. Being champion the past season, so definitely if he's not careful, so Crota, be careful. But yeah, Canada is definitely looking very interesting. I think just like in this race, I think we're going to focus on the team Aaron, focus on me and my teammate, just bring home as much points as we can, and then just leave Rebel and Alpine to their fight. Because honestly, I think we can all agree here. I think the championship's definitely down to those 2 teams.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time. Great to have you here as we now have got to be having like with Iceman now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Hey, thank you for your time. Not qualifying, I mean, maybe a few mistakes here and there, but in the end, P7, I mean, 7 cars finishing P7, but was there any goal of finishing up the order or just try and take any points as you can and probably take much advantage of the situation that there are only 7 drivers and do the best you can and take many points?
Yeah, well, first off, great job to my teammate Magic. He put on a fantastic drive, and also to the top 3 drivers. They did a fantastic job, and everybody on the grid. Yeah, I tried to maximize as much as I could from the amount of drivers on the grid, but obviously that doesn't necessarily happen. We had a big turmoil going into the second sector. It was 4 cars, and I was gonna go for a gap, and then it just disappeared on me, and it was broken wing, and kind of not necessarily race over for me, but it was definitely an uphill battle to start climbing then.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm sure it'll be even better as we go around the calendar. First Canada, and then it's going to be Netherlands, Baku, and then Suzuka. Any track you're looking forward to specifically?
No, not necessarily. Kind of just focusing on one track at a time. Like my teammates said, we're just keeping our heads down, one race at a time, and doing what we can to maximize to bring as many points as possible for the team. And yeah, just focusing on Canada coming up. You know, got to focus on the track limits. I definitely got to clean that up. We had about 9 seconds worth of penalties. Wasn't too thrilled with the FIA with that one, but we'll discuss that on a different time. But yeah, just got to clean up the track limits. Got to clean up the driving, and got to do better. That was not a good performance at all whatsoever.
Okay, thank you so much. Nice to have you, everybody, and great to have a talk with everybody around. I'm sure, if I'm not wrong, everybody is done now with the interview. And thank you, everyone. Nice to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having you join us for the league. Appreciate you.
Thank you. And that was the Australian Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. It was an amazing qualifying session, maybe not as chaotic as much as the race, but it was fantastic. I mean, we had a great race, fantastic racing going on, and that was everybody we had a chat with after the race. I hope everyone of you watching out there here at JPB enjoyed it. Catch you next time around for the Canadian Grand Prix on 17th of November. Until then, it's Zabi here, and I'll be out.